Hello, friends. Hey, Giuliano here. And it's time for a monthly roundup. It's November. So we've got October candle closing. We get a chance to take a look at what's continuing to shape up on the monthly price charts of Bitcoin and altcoins. So let's dive into it. We've got Bitcoin against US dollar. Yeah, BTC USD chart. Okay, where are we now? With October, we have closed here above, back above the key level of 2017, the month. So that seems to be relatively bullish. Now, considering we've broken down below this long-term uptrend that we've carved out, it does mean that time will be required, but look, there's this triangle here that could get filled with price action for sure. There's totally that case. Does the price continue higher along here? Interestingly, who knows? Or does it even reclaim this uptrend? That'll be interesting to watch. But I think this triangle is a safe, fair place for the price to hang out in this next time being, in towards January, February, March of 2023. And then maybe then you get to go even higher. It'll be interesting to see how this shapes up, this monthly price chart of Bitcoin, with momentum indicators showing it's pretty capable of having a neutral or upward momentum, you know, even with this relatively positive momentum here, even though it's negative histograms and that sort of thing. But yeah, so let's see as the price action does its thing at this level. I mean, is it going to eventually break down? That'll be interesting to watch. But right now, this triangle looks likely as a likely consideration here. Okay, so that's BTC on the monthly. Yeah, the fact that it didn't continue breaking down. Anyway, we'll see what November brings. And when we look at lower timeframes, then yes, there are reasons to consider price action to come back up to the higher levels here within this triangle that's formed basically right here between the horizontal price action of 2017 and the upward trend of 2015, 2020, and then now into 2022 being broken. And then the downtrend of the highs from 2021, November, 1 year ago, October, November, down to these highs here of April in 2022. That creates that downtrend. And with all of that together, we get this triangular space, which that looks like a fun place to fill. So let's fill that with BTC price action against USD. All right. So we're going to move on from here and take a look at altcoins as well. And then come back, stay tuned for weekly roundups coming right back at you. All right. There's BTC on the monthly. Okay, we're going to use the Bittrex data for KMD against BTC, just playing with some tools to look at some relative price action and movements. But KMD on the monthly looks devastated on the all price action chart here, but it looks like it could be providing interesting price action. Now it is breaking below this key level here of 2021 January, and let's see where it can find its next bottom. But on the monthly, it looks like it wants to come down further. So yeah, look around that 1,000 Satoshi level, maybe, who knows? Now, having said that, it might just wind up and corkscrew around here before diving out to the upside of these downtrending resistances. So yeah, let's watch. But this area here is not Well, it's possible for sure, you know, you could totally see that, but then, well, beware, how far does it go down? So the real concern here is can you hold this type of level of support and then go higher? That's what you're looking for in KMD against BTC. And that would be a long-term price action movement. But this is a monthly price chart. And so, you know, there's only 12 candles in a year. So that's a couple of years where you can break out from a long-term downtrend and still consolidate before changing, reversing your trend. And so in this situation, let's imagine, will it happen? Who knows? It'll be interesting to watch how these charts play out. But I mean, you are starting long-term to wind up potentially with Bollinger Bands and also flatten out. And that could mean a push to the higher side, but how long does that take? How many years? That sort of thing. Considering that, okay, look, even here, you're just breaking this long-term downtrend with this price action here. And that's, let's say, just within this past year of 2022. So at best, you know, 6 candles beyond that downtrend break. And that could continue for a number of candles before really finding some bigger volatile movement, and then determining then if that becomes a base of low to go higher. But we'll see what ends up happening. Cryptos move a bit different too. So when they go, they go. So maybe it just has to pump at some point into the future. But for now, we're watching it at a lower level here to see what does it do here in this triangular action. Because at a smaller local consideration, these Bollinger Bands are still wide apart. You're getting rejected at this 20-month moving average here, struggling with this horizontal zone. So what's happening down here? We're going to find out. All right. But anyway, overall, KMD starting or continuing to look interesting and to play out really slowly over time. These things are glacial pace on the monthly. So there's KMD using log charts and looking to continue this price action where you're breaking out of these long-term downtrends, and now you're in this local triangular action and trying to look for the to the right side of that. All right, we'll see how that plays out in the months ahead. That's KMD BTC. Okay, let's hit up the total on the monthly. Similar action. It's a very flattening action, so get the sense that you can handle this, hold this. It itself actually, has held well at the previous all-time high total. So we'll see what ends up happening here with this price, but it can chop around and sideways itself and see what happens here. Looking at this Ichimoku cloud into the future that's forming, can it get above? My sense is yes, and we'll see what the price action does around here until then. Okay, so we look to the pirate chain ARRR against BTC on CoinEx. Let's take a look at the monthly, and yeah, is it bottoming here? That would be nice for all the longs on the pirate chain. What's so wide still? The Bollinger Band. How wide is it? It's like, where are you, lower end of the Bollinger Band? Look how wide it is down here. That's crazy. So anyway, that's the monthly Bollinger Band. And what else? That's really the only sense we have other than this price action, which is just finding this flat floor. So, well, you take it down to lower time frames, but time-wise, you have one big candle move up and a number of candle moves down. You're still working to break this downtrend, so you're not quite. Well, I mean, you've broken it here. Let's say you're kind of just beginning to break it, but yeah. So what's that gonna mean? Let's find out. We're gonna keep watching it, but yeah, we're just trying to break this. It's getting kind of flat and movement. So eventually volatile will come from that contraction, non-movement. That would be the sense of it. Cool. Yeah, let's see on the monthly chart where this continues. And since we're here, we'll check out the XMR against the BTC. Against the BTC, we'll use the Poloniex and see that, okay, I think there's a decent bottoming chance here for Monero where you make this big downtrend, Bollinger Bands expand, you hit these kind of bottom to top and then back to the bottom and consolidate and move back up top of the Bollinger Band. And now you're getting some rejection here, but could be a consolidation and then continue higher. That would be huge for Monero if that can start challenging up here. But currently, I guess you're working against this kind of like downward price action here. So just check that. Yeah, so, and then this horizontal price action here to watch for support, which will coincide with the 20-month moving average. So I guess that's the sense of it. And you'd want, potential to then push higher. All right, that's Monero Bitcoin on the monthly, looking good with this kind of bottoming action after a nice downtrend here. This kind of bottoming action in relation to Bollinger Band bouncing, and that's pretty good. So there's Monero against BTC. All right, let's go back over to ADA against BTC. Okay, so let's plot that to the monthly. The weekly, we saw a second bounce at the 200-week moving average. Monthly price action has closed respecting this horizontal level. So clearly this is a level of significance, even on the monthly, a zone of significance. And, what kind of momentum's happening here? I think the signal and MACD lines will need to come and return back to a neutral or negative place to work all of this price action out. So I think over the next months, you're looking to see if this can hold. This thing could play out over some time, like really, who knows how long these things can take into 2024 and 2025. If that's something that happens, potential wide Bollinger Bands, 20-month moving average rejection. Haven't really retested it since leaving it here, not in any touchy kind of way, other than just like the next candle after breaking it, you get the next candle down, but nothing where you've left it significant enough time and then come back. So let's see what happens. If something like this occurs, let's keep this on the monthly. Monthly, anytime you go up a level of charting of time frame, it's like up a higher level of God mode, where you get to see higher time frame and how it's shaping up in a longer duration. That's harder to fathom, of course. Anyway, is this what's going to happen? I mean, that's crazy. But we'll see. Okay. Next. With THETA on the monthly closing October, also with some wide Bollinger Band action still, and having not retested the 20-month moving average. It's kind of been sideways for the better part of half a year here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months with a bit of volatility intra-month here, but really nothing. It's been quite sideways, and I think that speaks a lot to the altcoin Bitcoin valuation pair. So that's cool. It's not so bad if you're considering that, but if you're looking from up here, how much of the downtrend remains? Are you able to flatten here and reconsider? I think on a monthly time frame, the whole momentum thing has still not played out itself yet. Yeah, even like ADA, you kind of get this like flattening idea or whatever, maybe bottoming idea, but maybe it's just a interim bottom where you find some redistribution on a monthly level where prices move and things change hands, liquidity gets exchanged, and then eventually you mark down for lower prices in the entire cycle, which on a monthly looks a lot bigger. Well, it's more simple than a weekly even time frame, and definitely much more simple than a daily time frame, but it does play itself out in similar ways. So yeah, that gives us the sense, like for me into 2024, you might be seeing lower altcoin prices against Bitcoin. And it might shape up like that, like where you're getting some sort of stuff here and then it comes down lower. That's kind of just the idea. Okay, cool. Well, that's what happens when we look at a bunch of them, and that's THETA against BTC. Yeah. What would that look like for ICX? That could look like this is maybe even some huge distribution, accumulation situation. Who knows? Like, depends. I don't know how these are going to work. What's going to end up happening? I imagine they're going to keep going, and it will have some sort of trade value, and markets will exist for these, and including this. And this could be a long accumulation thing. I don't know how much lower it would go in any significance. Although then there are the kind of ghost, dead, non-moving, maybe low liquidity, low volume, maybe delisted, all kinds of things. Who knows what's going to actually happen to these charts? But for now, what we see is a potential that are you getting some sort of move down, and then you're springing and continuing this accumulation pattern long term. Who knows? But at least with this one, it's also another. It's another altcoin where you have a bit more of a narrow Bollinger Band situation. You're not really at the lows, making even lower lows, and just potentially finding some sort of horizontal price action where you make your final move to the lowest of the low before you start creating the move to the higher end. This is a monthly time frame, and this could take a while. Look, here's 2024, 2025. So what does this even mean? This is ICX against BTC. So you play it accordingly. But we're watching it, and that's the fun part for now. And that's ICX. So yeah, it's really also at the very flat. What's going to happen here? I think you could be working some sort of a longer term accumulation pattern where then it'll get a bit higher at some point, but you never know. So we'll stick around as best as we can to find out. That's ICX. And if you have any requests, just send them into the comments. So here is DERO at the crossroads here between the 20-month moving average and this downtrending resistance of the price action. What is going to happen? 4 months of turnaround price action from this beautiful hammering candle here, where you have a beauty, huge wick and this body to just work it up, but the momentum kind of waned here, but it held. It took a lot of energy to do this. It even took liquidity into the 20-month moving average, and now you're even closing an October candle here, a full body candle. So what does that mean? Are you going to be able to even push higher? DERO has been definitely among uncanny movers in price action. I mean, to be considered still, let's say from here, a nice beauty 61.8% bounce off of that. That's like great strength. That's good. Good for the DERO price chart on the monthly. A nice 61.8 retracement here. So what's it making though? Is it making something where, longer term, it makes one of these, and then somehow it can go higher, or even how long does it even take? But is it having to make one of these, or is it already in the act of making it? And this is just part of that before going, I don't know. We're going to find out. Right now, though, it looks like it wants to push higher, but how much higher can it go? You're just breaking out of this. If that's the case, and how much momentum do you have beyond that, and with this horizontal price resistance action ahead. But that's cool. DERO's been strong. It's showing strength here still, and we'll see what this price action brings in terms of the momentum. I still think it has a bigger market cycle to go. I don't know if it's done, and I do think it has to come down to these levels at some point. But maybe not. Maybe it's not that kind of deal, and maybe the momentum can continue higher. And yeah, possible. But right now, if we look at it on a bigger scale, what kind of action does it look like it's done? Yeah, it could definitely push higher. There's no doubt about it, and just create its own movement. So what we're going to do on the monthly is, well, we've got this right here. So I think we're going to just let this uptrend on the monthly be our guide, and yeah, let's watch price action into next month for DERO. And now let's move to TRAC against BTC. Monthly kind of chugging along below the 20-month moving average, below the Ichimoku cloud formation. Yeah, how much more, where are these signal and MACD levels going? What kind of histogram action are we getting? Are we going to continue to get the relatively positive momentum? Are we going to get a bit of a turnaround here? And where does that lead us? Does it just touch the cloud and then come back down? Lots of questions here, but you also have, let's just take out a bit of noise here. You have this uptrend, which is kind of like, really, how long is it going? You know, this, I feels like it's kind of breaking like that local one there. And also just even this one here, it's like, it's going to be tough to maintain this trend. So in that case, like, even if you're generous and you say this, okay, you got to start coming up here ASAP then. Otherwise you start breaking. Now ASAP means, you know, into the March, April, May of 2023, if you can hold horizontal here. But yeah, so if you look like that, what can you do with this price action? You just got to keep going on this trend. If you start breaking the trend, then that's a good signal that these prices are coming down to there. Wouldn't you say? I guess maybe they could break down and then kind of try and ride up again before going down further, but whatever. Okay, so that's the origin trail track against BTC. Looking decent. Like, I get the sense it wants to continue higher. So let's keep watching on the lower time frames. See what happens. Okay. And then BNB, the rock star BNB, just singing to higher and higher heights. Like, holy moly. Just continuing to exceed expectations and all world possibilities. I mean, what is this line even anymore to us on the monthly? It's not quite. It's not quite coherent. I mean, what are we doing here? We are just rising upon rising. So this is hard. You know, you're at the upper end of the Bollinger Band. You're in uncharted territory, blue sky territory. This like just continued pushes higher on the monthly. And in that sense, Why not? Why not come to this higher level? Why not? You're up here. I mean, on lower time frames, we might witness a turning around, but look at this momentum, how it just deflected and just kept going higher. But histogram wise, you know, the rate, let's say, of the momentum is lower. So there is something to be said about that. There is a point where, like, yeah, what's going to end up happening here? What kind of topping and how deep of a retraction will it be? But where is that going to happen? Like, there could definitely keep pushing higher. Let's keep watching one candle at a time. That's the beauty of the monthly, and then following it on lower time frames. Like, what if this becomes a very interesting turnaround candle? Who knows? Whatever, we're going to see. But BNB has definitely been the superstar for sure against BTC continually. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, you're still, you know, you're still making this, which is scary when you consider the price action here. I mean, if it's valid, if you're saying it's not valid, then it doesn't, you know, doesn't necessarily have to prove to be valid. But you're making higher prices but lower RSI levels. But you know, depends if you're counting this stuff first. Cool. Next. BNB soaring through the skies, bright and blue. And on the monthly with Chainlink, nice price action. You got to bounce from the lower end of the Bollinger Band on the monthly, and that played it right up into the 20-month moving average. Beautiful. You can see how this level here is a key level. Intra-month, you can see how the price action, and even on a closing basis, how the price action kept to this zone, this level. And yeah, it's kind of floating around here. You watch lower time frames to check, but you know, you got this type of price action here, which is resisting here. So currently that's the level of resistance you really got to overcome. You can see how the price couldn't really close above it, but it did make it higher up to this level of resistance. So they're definitely at key levels here, and it can chop around, certainly. On the monthly, definitely continued negative, relative positive momentum. What does that translate to in price? It's difficult to say. There's also possibilities of turnover so that you can get like increasingly negative momentum again. So watch out, but I mean, overall, it looks good. You're above this level, which is a key level. As long as you're above that level, you're golden. But this thing could turn either ugly into 2024 down here, or it could be like a super solid scenario of sideways into 2024, 2025, where, you know, maybe you, at some point you touch this upper level here or wherever, and you come back to these lower levels, and then into 2025, who knows? But there's also that scenario where you're down here in 2024 into 2025, down here. Okay. So that is Link against BTC, looking half decent for sure. XRP against BTC, we take it on the monthly. Wow, it's interesting. We've had these ideas here drawn, and it's like, okay, take a look, and wow, it respected it. Price action wise, it traded above into the top of the Bollinger Band, but what happens next? Maybe a little sideways, maybe a little down into this level again, and then we look to break out to the upside. I think you want to touch this 20-month moving average again, sure, no problem around here, go for it, or wherever it is, you know, into March, April 2023 is right here, January, February, March, April, and look to go higher. Looking to go higher on the XRP against BTC. Why not? Why not? It would be pretty devastating though to fall down. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, it looks like this triangle could be broken to the upside. We're riding it at the upper end here, and then you just pop higher, and then you're out of it to the upside, and that's the significance. That's significant. We'll see where that happens there, though. That could turn into further price action over here into 2024, 2025, where, well, if you're into 2024, a bit more sideways or whatever, right? But that's cool. That's very positive for XRP. So let's take a look and keep watching and see what happens with this triangular price action. That's XRP on the monthly. And then Ethereum against BTC on the monthly. Yeah, well, I mean, really in October, this price action was a nice strong green candle back up after a really bearish red one. But you bounced off this kind of 20-month moving average price action, and now you're back up to these previous resistance. So that's pretty cool. Maybe Ethereum is ready to pop higher like BNB. If not, then you're winding up for a move lower. But here we are into 2023, and I do get more and more the sense that this price action could, it definitely could pop higher, and then make its way for sure. Totally, maybe that's coming. We're going to see. I mean, we've got a nice downtrend here that we're going to see the price action play with the closing Bollinger Bands, this horizontal price level, which is super important. And yeah, we're going to know very soon whether the price comes this way or it goes this way. But based on the momentum, I mean, you're not in a bearish place in the momentum, so it could keep going in the positive direction. And even with this monthly MACD price action, like it is setting up to go higher. Look at it. It's just kind of winding up. So if that, and then I mean, with the shape of the price action, if it pops over, that could definitely be what it's doing. It might take time. It could be into 2024, 2025. You're still around here. You're still around this kind of downtrending line here. But that would probably mean this longer term uptrend is going to hold and can go higher. I would imagine. Maybe not. Maybe into 2025, 2026, you break back down into your, who knows? This is wild, this stuff. But when you get price action like this here, or even like some of these here to the upside, that really marks up the price and gets big impulses that then have big corrections that follow. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Sometimes the price action moves huge and fast like that. Other times, this movement up here was a bit more stepping all the way up, and so it took longer. But there was a decent move from low to high. I mean, if we compare them, let's say we go from low to high, and we go from low to high. I mean, it's about 61% of that. So it's not quite that huge move, but again, in dollar terms and the triangulation of BTC, altcoin, and US dollar price, you know, it's different times. It's interesting how that plays out in the BTC chart. So yeah, here's that stepping movement and just trying to work the way higher. All right, so we check out the DOT against the BTC. like momentum wise and stuff too, it's pretty interesting because you've got this positive momentum, but the like the MACD signal lines are below in the negative side and working their way up. So you can see some positivity. Oops, we're on the weekly. On the monthly, yeah, exactly. You could see a little bit of price action up in here, but then what happens after that? Still haven't retested the 20-month moving average. So when could that happen? I mean, yeah, on a monthly price action level, the price could come back up here at some point in 2023. But in 2024, 2025 is going to be down here again, possibly. We'll see. Yeah, I get the sense, yes. Get us dot on the monthly. That's why at some point some of the weekly charts, it's like it's interesting because then it helps for a little shorter term time frames because these things play out. It take look, you're going to wait 1.5, 2 years for things sometimes here than you're like in a shit, that's a much longer thing. So at the end of the day, all of these time frames, I think they play in with each other and work together depending on your intentions and your agenda and what you need. So anyway. We'll move on to the FTM against the BTC. Again, some more of that flattening action, very low volatility. And you can see move to the upside before then it moves further down to the downside for sure. You can see further sideways. These are one candle at a time, and you're already into 2023. You know, after the next candle, then you're into 2023. We'll see from there. Looking for pushes to the upside. Looking for things to materialize. Maybe it doesn't have to be for the huge moves on the chart, but even just to see like, okay, in the next coming few months, half of a year, whatever, where could the price be? I think that's helpful. So as long as you can kind of hold these levels here horizontally, lower time frames, then you're good. Okay, so that's FTM against the BTC. We check the Solana against the BTC on the monthly. And yeah, again, kind of weak and long term. I don't like this chart unless it's able to hold some support here. But into 2024, 2025, why not? Maybe they'll look, hey, maybe this is something special. So you get that break over there, fine. Right now, you're having a bit of trouble here, okay? So that's not where that's gonna be. So this becomes irrelevant for now. At this point, yeah, it's hovering here below this 20-month moving average. It doesn't really look like it's well, I mean, it looks, hey, it could be ready. It could be ready to kind of break out of this price action. In which case, then, yeah, maybe it is okay. But sometimes price charts, you know, they break out and then they come further down. So if that's what's happening here, that's possible, no doubt, no doubt. Into 2024 here. This is 2024, you know, mainly. So this would be 2023. So who knows what this ends up looking like, but this price action here is it's either going to break out of this kind of downtrend here or not, and we're going to know very soon. A couple months into, you know, into 2023, February, March. It'll be interesting. We know that 2023, February, March, April will be an interesting time for altcoins against Bitcoin. That's the sense we're getting. That's what I'm getting. Okay, so that's Sol against BTC. So yeah, I mean, the monthly of Sol isn't looking super bad in the shorter term, unless it really breaks down really fast. We'll see what happens. That might be news driven or whatever, where the momentum kind of continues, but it's from some sort of news where that influences people's behavior. This is a weekly, looking decent there for Avalanche on the weekly, breaking down that downtrend. But on the monthly, it's like, oh, well, you're not really doing much. Now, on a weekly, it might translate to something more important, but on a monthly, yeah, you're just kind of hovering. You're just kind of hovering here. Are you going to continue down after that into 2024, which is here? 2024 is this time block here. So let's find out. That's Avalanche against BTC. That's the sense I'm getting. It's like, yeah, into 2023, fine. Maybe you're trading up here, but into towards 2024, you're probably down here. For a lot of them, that's the overall movement. Anyway, we're going to see. It's very exciting to see what's going to happen. Here is MATIC against BTC. MATIC against BTC is just another one of those, which has been a bit of a stunner, I should say. It's got some interesting price action going on right now, where it's got this kind of upward price momentum channel, like this, you know, and then these wild deviations above and below. So does that mean, like, what's coming next? Where is this going? I mean, this long line here is irrelevant for now on the monthly. If oh, well, okay, it's only visible on the monthly, so we're going to get rid of it for now. In fact, what we'll do is grab it from here and just bring it down. There we go. So that'll probably be the scenario. Look for some potential resistance here or a strong breakout. But if it is gonna balance out, look at this momentum on the monthly. This thing could turn positive and just provide a nice push higher. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch here. This downtrend here is going to tell us in quite a bit. And I mean, momentum wise, you keep making these lower movements. So I don't know, maybe you're still in a relatively bullish territory. Can you push higher? You maybe moves low, now you're moving higher again. Can you continue a little bit higher? I think you can. I think MATIC can definitely get higher. Let's watch it on lower timeframes to see. But you're on the monthly, it's like, yeah, come to this higher level. That's what it's saying. Touch the top of the Bollinger Band and maybe up here or whatever. Let's see what happens. And on lower timeframes, we'll watch for turnarounds of significance. And here on Atom, staying above this significant price level here in this previous month. Yeah, why not? Maybe on the monthly, it's like, hey, let me chill here for a little bit and I'm going higher. I'm going to try and break out of this this kind of downtrending price action. But wide Bollinger Bands, kind of riding this 20-month moving average. Let's see if it can ride it up higher. First, it's gonna have to break out of this downtrend, and this is the important horizontal level to watch really on the monthly, and on the weekly we can continue watching. I mean, on the monthly, the weekly price action doesn't look as bad. So, but having said that, there is, you know, like it is significant resistance here above. So if it's going to push higher, it's definitely going to pop higher. Or, and when? I mean, here is March 2023. So is it going to happen here, around here, and pop higher? That'll be cool to watch. And can it get higher than the previous price action and find some all-time highs? We'll see against BTC. And there's a lot of positivity around this chain, and you're not really seeing any like divergence or anything yet to the bearish side of things. Well, kind of, you are seeing a bearish divergence here. Oh, sorry, convergence. Sorry. So you're not seeing divergence. All right. All right, let's check RUNE. You're trying to break this local downtrend, but what does it really mean? So where is the price action? It's probably going to be around here. Probably going to be around here. Look for it to hang out here somewhere. What sense I'm getting. All right. That's RUNE against BTC. Yeah, look for this final area to get fulfilled. Maybe even higher, maybe even up to here. Anyway, okay, it's got time. All these things have time. Look, here's 2024 here, so maybe it starts bottoming in 2024 and you get out then. We'll see. That's on that bearish side, of course. That's if this downtrend is continuing with this price action. We'll see. Monthly takes time, doesn't it? Near against BTC on the monthly. It's broken this kind of uptrend, but that's based on these wicks here too. So, and it's breaking this 20-month moving average and this horizontal level. So yeah, it's kind of bearish, but can it hang around here a bit? Yeah, sure. But I think ultimately price action comes back down. Yeah, probably towards this level, at least this first level. Maybe not. Maybe it can double bottom around here somewhere and get higher. Cool. DOGE BTC monthly, wow, back to the top of the Bollinger Band. That's very helpful. What's going to happen here? Is it going to be able to hold it? This is going to be wild. DOGE BTC on the monthly. There you go. Is this going to be a deviation? You come back down, go to the 20-month moving average, and then coming further down? Or is this the beginning of something special? Are you making a bullish MACD cross on the monthly and continuing higher? This could be wild. Anyway, well, these are the levels up here to really watch. So, and by then you're pushing the Bollinger Bands higher. So it's wild. It's pretty cool how you can find your support here on previous all-time highs. Right up the underside of this 20-month moving average, push to the upper end of the Bollinger Band and create this kind of shape. You're still finding resistance here currently, so we'll see what happens. It's pretty cool. Not convinced though. DOGE against BTC. I feel like that's DOGE BTC. I feel like it's gonna. That's a bit of a local top for sure. How long? I don't know, but that's pretty good sign that that was a huge move. And the monthly here on TRX, yeah, it's kind of consolidating at the top here after this move to the upper and expanding the Bollinger Band. It's trying to hold this kind of level here, but anyway, it's a decent consolidation. How long will it last, and where will it go from here? You're looking to hold kind of these levels, aren't you? Yes. You really don't want to go much lower than these. So that'll be important to watch on lower time frames. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Wishing you love, peace, and happiness. Hope you're enjoying that one. Goodbye.